Greetings, everybody. This is your favorite pseudoscientist, David Avocado Wolfe, here to plant a Robinia Pseudoacacia. This is the black locust. And given that name on a biblical reference, but really the locust is the carob tree. This is a distant relative of the carob. They're both in the Fabaceae, or the pea family, or the legume family. So they have this survival characteristic that's just incredible, especially this one. So the black locust is actually so powerful it's considered invasive in the places where it's from, which is the Appalachian region of North America. We've got it up here in Canada, and we came aware of this incredible tree from my assistant's name, which is Robinia, and I started calling her Robinia, and then Red Wolf over here alerted us to the fact that there is a plant called Robinia Pseudoacacia, and that's this right here. So we eventually got some after really looking into this incredible plant, incredible survivor, best wood ever, absolutely the best erosion control, because it not only will prevent erosion and produce a tree. We're going to get a nice arch of these in right over here. One's going to go there, one's going to go here, but also has edible flowers, and it's a nitrogen fixer. So it's an assistant to anything around it. So we've got over there, we got some black raspberry. We need some assistance there. That black raspberry's not doing too good. We've also got some other nitrogen fixtures over there, some sea buckthorn, but it's time to get these guys in. You can see how well they're doing. We got these as a cutting, or not a cutting, but basically a bare root. There was nothing, no leaves, and we just stuck them into a really nice soil with some biochar. You can see the biochar there, or the charcoal, and we're basically going to do some pseudoscience here, because if you look into it, you'll find out that I'm a pseudoscientist, and I do pseudoscience, and all these incredible doctors and hospitals and pharmaceutical companies, they're doing real science. That's why we have an opiate epidemic, and they're the third leading cause of death. So they must be really scientific. So, you know, we've got to be into pseudo-intellectual stuff like planting trees, and I go by a pseudonym, David Avocado Wolfe. And we're going to do some pseudo planting right now. So let's just check in what we're going to do. First thing I want to do is, we got 2 holes dug, and this black locust, or Robinia Pseudoacacia, which, by the way, it is truly actually related to acacias. So it's not really a pseudoacacia. This is the whole problem with pseudoscience, is they got you on one hand in a pseudo religion called science. Really, it's scientism. On the other hand, they got you in fundamentalist religion, and they're telling you those are the only 2 options. But as a pseudoscientist, I'm telling you those aren't the only 2 options. So anyway, the first thing we're going to do with our hole is we're going to look at that incredible biochar right there. It's charcoal. So we got the charcoal crushed up to rice-sized grains. And we're going to put that in the hole right there, because we want that negative charge underneath our tree, right? Charcoal's negatively charged, great detoxifier, great catalyst for the soil, the best catalyst for the soil ever, and persists in the soil for hundreds of years as a catalyst. So we got that in there. Maybe put a little bit more. And then we want to get some calcium in there for sure, because Robinia Pseudoacacia loves calcium. So Red Wolf's going to help us with that. And we're looking good to get this guy in the ground. I'm really excited about this. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about Robinia Pseudoacacia and pseudoscience. We're going to do some pseudoscientific action right now. All you have to do to find out what happens when you get really big and oppose the system is check out what they did to me on Google. Search me on Google or any of these other abomination search engines, and you'll see what they're going to do as soon as you start pointing out that the medicine, the pharmaceuticals, the drugs are killing people. Now, let's get back to Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln loved this tree, and in fact, when this tree gets really big, it has some of the best wood in the world. This wood is prized, and Abraham Lincoln used to make things out of this wood, because this wood can be used to make fencing, for example. It's wonderful for any kind of handcraft, furniture. What else? There's anything you make wood out of.
Anything that you need durable wood for.
Durable wood, because it persists, right? It does not break down. Even if we cut this, let's say this becomes a huge tree, we cut it up, we use it as posts. Those posts will last in the ground for like 30 years. So that even if they're sticking in the ground dead, they'll still make it. Okay, watch, come in close. Look at this Robinia Pseudoacacia. It's been in this pot for about 6 weeks. So we're going to show you how aggressive this thing is. Watch this. Okay, there we go. Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that aggressiveness, those roots. It had no roots when I got this thing. Now it's, look at this, 6 weeks. Bam.
Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna pop this Robinia Pseudoacacia right in here and give it a little bit, break up that soil a little bit, get those roots out just a bit. Oh, is it gonna be happy having its new home? This is one of the roughest parts of this property right here. The winter winds that hit this spot are crazy. It's minus 40 here in the winter. Everything I've planted here, unless it was a wild forest tree like that oak right there, or these cherries right here, they get completely obliterated by the winter. So we're gonna see how tough this Robinia Pseudoacacia actually really is. And while he's putting in some good soil that we picked out over here, I'm actually gonna mix in some more biochar. So you can kind of do that. And then we can put some more calcium in. Throw some more of that calcium in. Robinia Pseudoacacia loves calcium, and it can handle a crazy diverse range of pHs in the soil, from like 4.6 to 8.2 pH. So from extremely acidic to highly alkaline soil. This thing's a survivor, and I'm so glad we finally got him. And again, what I'm going to do is get one in over here, and then we're going to arch him in. While he's finishing that one off, let's start this one over here. Okay, so got another hole over here. First thing is we're gonna get the biochar in. Again, for that negative charge underneath everything. By the way, you'd show me any doctor or even a nutritionist that grows their own food, and I'll be absolutely shocked, even dumbfounded. Think about that for a second. A nutritionist that doesn't grow their own food. How can you actually know anything really about the plant unless you grow it? It's just, I don't know. I don't get it. We live in that kind of civilization. It's a pseudo-civilization. Okay, let's get that Robinia over here. And if we can get some more calcium, that'd be great. Thank you. Oh, here comes the calcium. Well, we've got a lot of calcium here, good. Throw that all around here, boom. Okay, let's get a Robinia. Again, watch this. This is just 6 weeks been in this pot. Completely bare root, so there's no root activity at all. Look at that now. A real powerhouse. You can see it's growing right into the biochar. See the biochar that's at the bottom of this? You can see how the layers are. So I put biochar at the bottom like that. Look what's happening here. And you can see there's another layer of biochar right there, and then there's a biochar layer at the top. Let's flip this thing around, and boom, it's gonna be in its new home, and healthy and happy in its new home. And I'm gonna break up the roots a little bit. Okay, the black locust makes it here to Avalon Farms. Check us out, by the way. New website coming up for some of the products we're going to produce off this farm. By the way, follow me if you can on Telegram. I don't know when YouTube will delete me again. They've already deleted me once, so they're going to probably delete me again, because that's just the way these things are. And they are obviously controlled by forces that don't have your best interest in mind. Forces that are actually killing more people than heart attacks, probably anything else except heart attacks and cancer. Think about that. So when you compare like doctors versus car accidents, it's not even a close statistical correlation. Way more people are killed by doctors, hospitals, and pharmaceuticals than are killed in car accidents. Okay, so let's keep going here. Let's get back to real farming. Oh, I'm sorry. This is pseudo farming, isn't it, Red Wolf?
Pseudo farming.
Pseudo farming.
Pseudoacacia, pseudo farming.
So we're doing some pseudoscience here on our farm. Thank you. And the thing about this plant, the key about it is it doesn't really need rich soils to thrive. It can thrive in poor soils. That's the reason why it's a nitrogen fixer. It kind of forms its own protein. It doesn't need protein from the compost pile, for example, to make it. It can actually create its own protein. And that's kind of the theory behind the nitrogen fixers. And you can see it's got that acacia-like leaf structure. That's why it's called a pseudoacacia. And the acacias are very well known in Australia and the Pacific, the South Pacific actually, where about 900 species of acacias are found and almost found nowhere else. That's kind of why this is called a pseudoacacia. However, it is still a relative of the acacia, so it isn't really a pseudoacacia, as I mentioned before. All right, let's get some more of that biochar in. Oh, this is looking great. And a few more of those, and we are looking good for the new gate, which will be the Robinia Pseudoacacia, the black locust, which will come up and over like that. That's how that's going to be. And what's cool about that is it kind of has a thorniness to it. So it's an excellent perimeter tree, because, you know, over here we're trying to keep the deer out, the bears out, the porcupines out, the raccoons, what other creatures? The moose. I mean, we got everything. And in order to do that, the best way is to have natural fencing or natural plants that become fence-like. And these thorny plants like this tree right here, very thorny, will be a great perimeter gate, a gateway right here, a gateway drug into pseudoscience, pseudo-intellectualism, and even a pseudonym. I'm David Avocado Wolfe, signing off from Avalon Farms. Have the best day ever.